Hey, what's up? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm having some audio issues.
No, it's an issue.
Let's see. All right, there we go. Hey, somebody say something?
Yo.
Hello.
All right, cool. Yeah, the audio was playing through my computer speakers instead of my
Why is this song looping, man? You didn't make a playlist?
No, I just gotta turn the volume down.
Dang, you should just make a playlist, bro.
There we go. I think that's good right there. All right. Let's see. Let's get our introductions going. We are live. Let's see. Let's start with you, Mr. Carbon. I'll give you a solo layout here. What you working on?
Right now, I'm working on making Roy from Fire Emblem right now. This is Roy.
Fire Emblem?
Yeah. He's basically one of the lords of his game, basically one of the main characters, basically. You know? He's usually considered the most useless lord because he has like trash stats. but whatever.
Okay. Did you ever finish your model from last time?
Which model? What are you talking about?
Well, you were working like a full body model of a
I was just making clothing. I didn't finish that one. I just made other outfits. I did finish another sculpt though. Hold on, let me switch my screen over. It's definitely not my best work, but it was something I did like in 2 days. I switched my screen over. Why is it not letting me switch my screen over? Okay, here we go. Yeah, I say this character is from Xtel, technically a fan art of Undertale.
You said this is a fan art of the game Undertale?
Yes, technically a fan art of fan art. If you want me to be honest with you, that's technically what this is.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, like kind of zoom around so we can kind of see. Okay.
Yeah, I tried playing around with the shade a little more in the face, you know.
This
one. I did more texture painting than normal. If I go to what is it? Diffuse colors. I did more texture painting than what I normally would do. You know.
I have no clue who this is.
Yeah. It's basically Frisk from Undertale, but it's like it's a fan art, so it's kind of hard to explain.
But it's a good stylized. I think you did a good job.
I made the second character too. There's like another
okay,
main character with him. I go to why is that wireframe showing up? I had some better camera angles at one point, but yeah. It looks better with some of the camera angles. You know, I didn't really know what to do with the robot. It's just if you want me to, I could show you the specific scene, but there's a specific scene where he gets mad at one of the characters and then the robot gets mad too.
Can you show us the scene so we can get kind of, because I don't know who these characters are. I just want to get a reference. I mean, it looks good. I think you did a good job stylizing.
All right, let me search up real quick. I actually have a link to it on my X. Let me share my screen. That's not the right thing. What the world? Why is my browser not showing up? What the world's going on? Hang on, let me stop this real quick and then go back. Let me reopen up OBS.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'm gonna move on to Limping on Sunshine. All right, what you working on, man?
Just sketching.
You sketching out your panels?
Okay, I got my thing working now. Whenever you're ready to switch back to me.
Now I'm glad you finally got to this stage. But we'll switch back to Carbon. We'll come back to you, Mr. Sunshine. Hold on for a second. There we go. We still don't see anything, Carbon.
There we go.
Okay, I see.
Because I remember I showed you before. It's not the best animated. It's like I said, it's fan art or fan art. There's
Yeah.
it's limited animation, so. But I particularly like this part, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
What are we looking at here? Can you just kind of skip to the part? Yeah, skip to the part. So, I mean, what are you trying to show us here? Animation's pretty good. Oh, okay. He does the long
That part right there.
Long piccolo arm thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you're doing a good job, man. I think you're doing a good job capturing the likenesses.
Yeah,
All right,
that was basically the two parts I was copying. When he said I'm tired, and this part was kind of what I kind of copied. But yeah, normally it really started as a head sculpt, but I was like, man, let me make the full body. You know, these more simpler characters, so let me go ahead and attempt to.
Yeah, and I think you're doing a good job. I think you're doing a good job stylizing. Your techniques and stuff, your skill level has gotten much better at manipulating the program to get what you want. All right, let's move on to Limping on Sunshine. And I'm glad to see you finally got into your storyboard stage.
Yeah.
Hey, your audio is kind of low. Can you like move your microphone closer to your phone, to your mouth?
Oh, I didn't say anything. I wasn't talking loud. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're coming in very muddled. Can you turn up your mic?
He's right. I can barely hear you too.
What y'all talking about?
Hey, you gotta turn your mic audio up, bro.
Yeah. The audio is not good.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, but it's low.
No, you gotta get close to your mic or something, bro.
Yeah, you gotta get
You
close to your
always say
mic.
I had a bad mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you, but you're low, man. You're low.
I don't know what the fuck you tell you.
You weren't low like this before. Did you do something to your mic?
No, not at all.
Bro,
Are you wearing a headset?
dude, go in your audio settings and increase the mic volume. There's
turn
like
your
a
mic
mic
volume
volume in this thing and
200%.
turn that up.
It's like 200%.
There you go. There you
Yeah,
go.
that's a lot better, bro.
Yeah, you sound better now. All right, yeah. Explain what you have here, man.
Oh, but yeah. Well, I was rudely interrupted.
Why do you sound so muddled? What kind of mic headset are you using?
I'm using the headset I always use.
I mean, you sound louder now. You just sound muffled.
That's just how it's got the sound, I guess. It's not a whole
Because
lot
I have
we
you
can
up.
do.
I have you up to like
I
120
already
on my
started,
side.
man. There's not a whole lot we can do.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Explain what you got here.
Yeah, I'm just working on
There
the
you go.
first
That's much
page.
better.
I'm working on the first page, getting everything together.
Is this supposed to be the like a behind view or back view of the main villain, and he's kind of like looking at the Earth?
Yeah, this is
Okay.
out in space,
Yeah.
and you won't get your first like facial view of him until
Who is the character in the third panel?
this one
The bird
That's
looking
the
thing.
chicken, bro. Yeah.
is a mascot. He's going to get in a my main character is going to get in a confrontation with him about the chicken at the chicken joint. Yes.
Okay, so like explain to us how because right now I'm not following what's going on. I follow the first two panels, but I don't follow what's going on with the second and third.
All right. So if you recall from my story, the chicken is a big pivotal subject in the story. So I'm drawing it. This is like the first 5 minutes of the story. So on the next storyboard, which I will have mapped out, so next week you'll see when the hater and the villain get in their first conversation. Right now, my character's just purchasing the chicken. So it's basically showing their paths from the collision.
Yeah, you might have to see more to understand it, bro. I don't understand.
Well, you'll see it when it comes. But as of right now, I'm just getting to having a layout. So when I really get into it, you'll see more of it. But as of right now, I just want to rather than drawing random things, I want to have everything mapped out so I don't know where to focus on from one panel to the next, because I have all my character designs ready. I just want to have.
Oh, there we go. My audio went out for a second. I'm sorry, I didn't hear anything you just said.
I'm not repeating myself. On to the next thing.
So long as the audience heard it. As long as the audience heard it.
Yeah,
It looks.
they heard it.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go ahead and show you guys. I've made some minor changes to it.
You still stuck on the same piece.
I haven't had a chance to work on. I've been working on preparing things for the podcast. I got a new intro video that I was working on. We're streaming to Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble right now. So I've been, setting up the Rumble page. I've been doing some writing, so I just haven't had time to sit down and work on it. But I haven't worked on it, not at all. Like, I made some changes. Like, I made part of her Champions belt thing yellow and pink instead of I think I had green and yellow right there, or green and brown. I made the rimming for the champion belt green instead of brown. I changed the color of the neck and wrist rings to different colors. And the last thing I really have to do is I'm going to remap the fishnet looking thing on her legs. It just doesn't look right to me. I'm going to add some seams on it. And that should be about it for this. So I don't got a whole lot left to do to finalize this design with the character or whatever. I wanted to actually work on another drawing today, but I couldn't find it. So I was like, I guess I'll just work on this. So let's get started. Let's get started with the official show. And today we're going to be reviewing the movie The Woman in the Yard. We saw the movie yesterday at our local movie theater. And we'll just get started. We'll go ahead and get it going. We'll start with you, Mr. Limping on Sunshine, as far as your overall thoughts about the film, and then we'll move on to Mr. Carbon, then to myself. So what did you think overall? What was your overall assessment of the film?
When I first saw it, I'll be honest with you, I didn't think very highly of it. But as I thought about it throughout today and over the night, I'm like, all right, it was shot well. It had great scenery. And it had great setup. I mean, it's not the greatest movie I've seen, but it's not a bad movie. It's just good enough to keep your attention, if you get my meaning. There's things I started realizing things about the movie a day later, oh, okay, this is when this happened, and this is when this happened, and this is when this happened. I still think with her in the brace, I think she needs an Oscar because I can relate to her pain when she slipped on those stairs. But other than that, man, it's not a bad movie. Not a bad movie at all.
All right, so we'll move on to Carbon. Overall, give us your overall assessment first.
I mean, it was pretty good. I mean, just overall, I can't go in detail. I don't know what to really tell you. I mean, overall, it's pretty good. I felt the suspense parts did a pretty good job. It didn't really take too long to get kind of into the mystery of the story. It didn't spend too long worrying about who these characters are. You spend about 20 minutes and you kind of just jump in to learn about the mystery of the lady in the garden or the yard or whatnot. So I feel like I did a good job. It definitely kept my attention throughout the whole movie. I didn't really have days off or get tired or whatever. And overall, the story is pretty interesting.
Okay. I have to say that I concur. I think that overall, I thought the movie was much better than what a lot of the other critics are saying that it is. I know a lot of people are saying they're not liking the movie. But I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was a solid horror film. They weren't.
I had to disagree with you. I don't think it was a horror film. I didn't feel it was a horror film. It was more suspense than horror to me, because the horror film you expect to be scared. I was more intrigued by the movie than scared by anything. If that makes sense.
Well, I mean, we're grown men. There's going to be very little that scares us now.
I wouldn't say that.
So in that regard, I don't like. I'm not really judging it on the scariness too much, because it's not much that really scares me anymore. I'm trying to get these layouts right here. So for me, I still consider it a horror flick. It's definitely more suspenseful than it is scary, because of the way of the nature of it. Because she's sitting in this yard, and as it gets closer and closer to nighttime, she's getting closer and closer to the house or whatever. And that is very suspenseful. But there is some scenes in there that were genuinely creepy, I thought. Even I don't think it was particularly scary, but I thought it was a solid horror flick. I don't see what the criticism is about. Like, some of the people who I heard criticizing the movie, it almost seemed like they didn't even watch the movie. Because I thought it was a lot of interesting things going on. Again, I think the cinematography was great. The lighting was really good. The cuts and the angles and everything in the film, I thought was really, really well done. Acting was good. But speaking of that, let's move to the first category. What did you guys think overall of the acting? Beginning with you, Mr. Pegleg, or you change your name every show, so I can never remember what your name is. Limping
just
Sunshine.
Keep that man Pegleg. Just keep that Pegleg. He's Pegleg.
Yeah.
Overall, what did you think of the acting?
The little girl was terrible, but she's young, so she can get an excuse. The kid, the son, he irritated me more than anything. But the main actress and her husband, I know the husband from other projects. I forgot his name. His last name's Hornsby, and even though he's always plays like a soul singer or a disappointed dad, he knew his role in this one. The lady, the main actress, I was sitting there looking at her like I said, she played her part. She wasn't the worst, but she wasn't the best at the same time. I can't really smack too much down about her role, but the antagonist of the story, at first the antagonist was compelling, because when you first realize what the antagonist is, I'm like, okay, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Versus just some generic monster sitting in the yard, if you get what I mean.
Okay. So I mean, overall, like, what you think of the acting?
I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
What about you, Mr. Carbon?
I feel like it was pretty good. I feel like probably the son did the best job, in my opinion. Overall, I feel like everybody did a good job. Everybody felt convincing to me. I don't really have a lot to say. Everybody felt convincing to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Carbon. I thought everyone was convincing. I didn't see there was nothing about any of the acting that I thought was off. I didn't think the little girl was annoying. I actually thought she was really quite sweet, and she was actually very convincing as a child actor. I actually thought she was really good. So I disagree with you on that one. The young man, I thought he did a pretty good job. He played a teenager that was that was not unruly, but he was he's testing his mom's patience. I thought he did a good job doing that. I'll say that I think that the lead actress, what's her name? Let's look her up real quick. The Woman in the Yard actress. Danielle Deadweiler, is that her name?
Should bring a
Okay.
picture.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, that's her.
Let's go to Google. I'm on Brave.
Yeah, you can't search a lot. Brave's meant to be more of a safety browser than a convenient browser, which you won't have to do with ads like you do in every other freaking stream.
The Woman in the Yard actress. Let's see. Yeah, Danielle Deadweiler. What a weird last name. I thought she did a really good job. I think she probably had the best acting. Because I thought she did a really good job transitioning from like depressed to loving mother to abusive mother to psychotic mother to a loving wife to great bitch. she did a good job. Like she did all those roles really well. All of them were convincing, I thought. You know what I'm saying? In particular,
I guess like I said.
Wait, in particular, there's one scene that I thought she really stood out, and that is the restaurant scene where they did the flashback where she's sitting in the restaurant with her husband, and you know they got the nice clothes on and whatnot, and she just has resting bitch face the entire. I mean, we all have seen that face before. She did such a good job, I thought, channeling, you know, that inner bitch, because she really pulled that one off. And I thought it was a good contrast between the other aspects that she was playing inside the film. So I would have to say I think she was the best. I mean, I think everyone was good, from the lady that was playing the demon, from the kids to the husband, because it's not a big cast, you know what I'm saying? And most of the movie only takes place in one scene in the house. I mean, there's a couple of flashbacks like in the car and then inside the restaurant that they were in, but for the most part it takes place in one area. But I thought the cast did really well. I was quite convinced by all the performances. And I mean, to give props to the little girl too, because remember when the little girl was practicing her handwriting, and you know how like a little kid will like they'll do something and it's exciting to them, and then they'll show like their parents, and their parents will be like, yeah, that's good. Like the way she was like, look, is that right? Is this it? And she's excited about it. She did a good job. I thought it felt very natural. You know what I'm saying? And the way the mother was responding to it, I thought felt very natural. You know, so I have to give, as far as the acting, man, I have to give it a solid 5 out of 5. I thought they did a good job. I thought everyone did a good job, and there was nothing about it that was off to me. Even the line that was in the trailer that we thought was kind of corny, "Today is day," it didn't come off as corny to me when I watched the film, because you got to see it inflected in many different ways, and when you figure out why she was saying "today is the day," it lended itself. When you figure out the reason why, we'll have a spoiler section of this later on, but right now I won't do too many spoilers. But when you find out why she's saying "today is the day," it added a lot of gravitas towards it, and it made the line more palpable to me. Whereas when you heard it in the trailer, it was just kind of corny. But overall, man, I thought all the lines were delivered well. All the acting was well done. All right, let's move on to cinematography and special effects. We'll move to you, Mr. Limping on Sunshine.
I thought it was shot very well. And as y'all can clearly see from the shows, I'm not the person that sits there and look for like good aspects of everything. But when I thought and like reflected upon it, I'm like, man, there are very, very good scenes in this movie. What was the budget for this movie? Does anybody know?
I can look it up real quick. Go ahead, keep talking.
Yeah, like whoever shot it, like the angles they got, like to add from the adding of suspense just from moving a chair a couple feet. I was like, man, that's pretty cool. Versus all the flash and hoopla that you can put into a movie to make it make things seem more suspenseful. And it's only was shot for $12 million.
Yeah,
That's
it's
not
not
bad.
bad. Guess what? Guess what,
That's not
Caleb?
bad.
Guess what,
Oh,
Caleb?
what?
This movie costs less to make than that shitty ass Batman movie.
Well, I mean, 3D is gonna, or animation is always gonna cost more than live action. It's easier to do live action than animation. Like, so let's be honest here.
I'm messing with you. Look, continue. Living on Sunshine.
I will be back to the Almighty one next week. But the other thing I really liked about it was the fact that the use of darkness, like use of in shadow. It just shows that you don't need CGI and everything, just a well placed camera and patience and time can go far.
I'm pretty sure some of those shadows were CGI or
I'm not talking.
effects.
I'm not talking. I'm not talking about the visual. I'm not talking about the visual effects. I'm talking about when they're
Okay, I see what you're saying.
the scene in the attic. That was just them spinning a flashlight around.
Yeah.
Things like that, little simple things. And shout out to practical effects, man. You don't need this to break the bank every time you want to just make something look good. And like I said, I look for things to hate on. I was really looking for something to really, really hate on. I'm not, and like I said, it's not the greatest I've ever seen, but the one scene when she finally met up with her husband, it did feel like she was walking into a haze, like so it was like cloud. She was floating, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. So visually and visual effects, the shadow was pretty cool. And I don't want to. Well, I can talk about it. The scene when the creature finally got into the house. Like when the sun coming down and you see the antagonist going into where they are. I'm like, and when you first see her, you realize what's going on. She's just unveiled herself, and now she's going to her target. That was dope. That was really dope to me. I'm like, man, that really stuck out to me. Like rather than having a silhouette of a person, they have some clothing showing that it's going up. That's dope. Like you're shooting light through a veil or something. You feel me?
Yeah. I know exactly you're talking about, the scene where you see the side of the house and you see the sun shining through her lace and then like covering the house, almost like she's that was pretty cool. Yeah.
So on visually, I'll give it a 7, a solid 7, just because they made the most out of what they had.
What about you, Carbon? What do you think of the cinematography and the special effects?
All the shots are pretty good. I especially like at the beginning where it does like that really wide shot and just shows just her versus the lady in the chair. And I really like the shot when they was trying to run up the stairs, and like the way the camera was following them and doing all that freaking twisting and turning was pretty cool. They also did a lot of like angle shots. I forgot the name, but I remember I learned it in like the art appreciation class where they do like the angle shot to kind of make you feel like uncomfortable, whatever. They did a lot of shots. I remember just learning at school, which was I was able to that's that one shot. I don't remember the names of them, but I know what the shot is. Yeah, it's definitely cool seeing they use a lot of different types of shots. And overall, I thought the cinematography was pretty good, and I definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that for it to be a limited location, they did a lot with that location. With getting interesting angles and playing with the layout of the house and stuff like that, and how they would block shots and stuff. I thought they did a really good job. And overall, man, I thought the cinematography was excellent because, essentially the demon lady, it looks like she's more powerful at night, or whatever. Or, well, I'll say this to kind of let the audience know, the demon is getting closer into the house as it gets darker and darker, and as the sun gets lower on the horizon, the shadows get longer, and as the shadows get longer, her ability is to in the trailers kind of show that she can
she has like shadow magic basically.
Yeah, she can play with shadows and affect them. So like say if like a pot is casting a shadow, she can pick up the pot's shadow and actually throw the pot by throwing the pot's shadow. So it's things like that are really cool. But as she gets closer and closer to the house, man, the way they did the lighting effects, they did a really good job. It's very dynamic. And again, for it to be a solitary location, they got a lot out of it just by doing interesting shots and playing with light and shadow, which really I thought worked well for the creepiness of the film. And that's the other thing I have to say. For a good portion of the film to take place in the daytime, I thought they did a good job with creating a creep factor. One shot in particular that comes to mind is when the young man or the teenage boy goes into the shed, and the lady actually gets up, and they actually show her shadow through like the creaks and stuff of the light inside the in the shed. And that scene was probably one of the creepiest scenes because you didn't know what was going to happen. And one thing I'll say this, we'll kind of get into spoilers alerts here. They did a lot of foreshadowing. For example, right? Remember when he's in the shed and he sees the lady in black's footsteps coming towards the entrance of the shed, and he takes the fire poker, and as soon as she's about to come around, he swings it at her, but then it turns out that it's his mom, because it was his mom the entire time. You know what I'm saying?
You're already spoiling. Good lord, dude.
Well, I said that we're in the spoiler section now. You know what I'm saying? It was his mom the entire time.
We're gonna get to the spoiler section. Good lord, man.
I literally said we're in the spoiler section. We're in the spoiler section now. So yeah, as far as using cinematography and lighting and everything to tell a story, I thought they did a really good job. So what did you think? No, you already said your part, right, Carp? All right, so now we're going to go to plot and story, and this is where we're really going to get into spoilers. And we'll start with you, Limping on Sunshine.
Usually, I do not agree with you on most things, but Billy was a bitch.
Like, I don't. What things do we disagree on that so much? Like you said a couple of times.
Oh,
you even said like that there's certain movies that we don't agree with. I think most movies we agree on. There's only like a few movies that we disagree on.
I highly disagree with you on Spider-Man.
I mean that's like the only one you ever bring.
Spider-Man 3 was trash, but she's like the way she flipped from character to character. I mean, it was a gradual flip. It wasn't she wasn't kind mom. She started off being depressed, then she tried to be motherly. Like, as a matter of fact, you can pick it out. All right. So when she was coming down the stairs, and when she was in bed, she was depressed. When she was coming down the stairs,
we're supposed to talk about the plot and story here.
I am. So
okay.
As far as like seeing the plot of them showing somebody go through the stages of whatever the hell she's going through, because I don't want to say depression, but
I would say it's depression.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Like I say, I don't really know what the hell she was going through, so I don't want to say she's depressed. They did a good job, and as far as a plot of somebody showing somebody going through a mental illness, it was very, very good. Very, very, very good. Because I really don't have any hang-ups about her acting. I mean,
we're talking about the plot and story, not her acting.
And as far as the story, like for me, for the way they started it, like with her being the story of somebody going through something that they can't get over. That's what I got from this movie. Like it was never when I first saw it. I think you heard me in the theater. I was like, oh shit, another damn another damn woe is me movie. And then I realized it's not a woe is me movie. It's a be aware of your surroundings movie. If you get what I'm saying, like be aware of what's going on with you mentally, because there's some things like, man, like I said, before the show started, you have to reflecting on it. The climax of the story in the attic when can I talk about what happened in the attic?
Yeah, because this is the plot and story, so this is a spoiler section.
Yeah. So when she's going to hug her daughter, and because that was the climax of the story to me, and then the subtle letdown when she goes back to she is reflecting on her husband, and then she realizes like, oh, this is messed up because everything is in reverse.
Okay, you're all over the place. But generally, what did you think of the plot and story? Like, give us some
I fucking hated it. I fucking hated it. It was terrible. No, but if I had to give it on a scale, I would say it's about. I give it about average a 5. I mean, it's nothing to write home about, but it's enough to keep your attention.
All right, Mr. Carbon, what did you think overall the plot and story?
I thought the plot was good. I'm going to kind of start from the beginning. They really started off. You really think she's like this like loving mother, and you slowly through the story start to see her degrade and break down, and start to just get angry at her kids. Like just even the beginning, you get to kind of see the state that our house is in. Just the state alone from the first 5 minutes, you kind of get to learn just a whole lot about the story. They don't have no dog food. Or just the son's like doing all the work. He's cooking. She just starts off crying. The son keeps trying to call her from the bed. She just won't wake up or nothing.
To be fair, her husband had just got killed in a car accident. So I mean, she is depressed. Because I saw the same thing. I was like, man, why is the son doing all the motherly stuff for her? But I was like, okay, well, I mean, she's still, it wasn't that long ago that her husband died.
But isn't it in most cases usually the kid's more devastated than usually the parent in a situation like this?
No. Because I had a great aunt pass. I had a great uncle pass away, and her and my great uncle were together for a long time, and just the sheer loss of somebody kill you that you're that close to. So the kids, I lost my father a year and a half ago. So yeah, I'm hurt, but I see more pain than my mother, because once you're with somebody and rely on them for that length of time, that's for those who haven't been in love. You don't realize how much somebody can become your world, or you build a world with somebody. So I understand the son kind of getting over it, and the little girl saying, when she said, daddy would know what to do. But for a lot of women, if they're treating their man right, I'm not going to say that she was treating her man right, because she definitely wasn't in this movie. But when you depend on somebody,
let's go back to Carbon though, because I'll let him finish up.
But overall, I mean, I felt at the beginning it did a really good job, and you get to the point where the lady shows up, and you're like, oh snap, who is this lady? And the way she kind of like, I like they really humanize her character. She'd be like, who are you? I'm trying to help you out, And over time, like later in the story, she seems more aggressive to her, but at the beginning she seems more kind of human, and I really like how they at the beginning made her more like a normal character. You slowly see her degrade, and you learn what her mental situation is, how she's depressed, how she blames herself for killing her husband, and I mean she kind of did because of her, not accepting of the happy life that they had. But I mean, I kind of like the way that the story goes, especially with the son's progression too. He slowly becomes more rebellious over the story. He eventually's like, no, I need to figure who this lady is. If you're not going to protect, like, my little sister, I'm going to do it instead. I got to be the man of the household. Dad's gone. I got to do what I got to do. And I like what they did with his character too. Even though the little girl, I mean, she's a little girl. I mean, I don't think there's a whole lot she could do. I mean, I guess she, being a kid, I guess I don't really know what to say about her. But I feel like both the mom and the son did a really good job, and the way they slowly told their story, and like you said, was they did some foreshadowing too. I feel they did a really good job on that, leading all the way up to the end. Where they finally got into the basement or whatever, and how it slowly shows that she is the one that caused all this.
No, they went to the attic. They were in the attic.
Yeah, the attic. Yeah, it slowly implies that she caused all of it. Especially the moment she kind of grabbed her daughter, saying everything's gonna be okay when it's really not. She just wants it all to end, and we know the way that she ends it. Overall, I thought the plot was really good. It definitely kept me engaged the whole time, and I feel like this is a pretty good way if you want to tell kind of a more mental illness story that kind of ends in a bad way. I feel like it was well written, not kind of just like wave it off at the end, So I feel they did a good job kind of talking about mental illness in still in an interesting story way, not too burdening to the viewer or whatever. But I feel like it was an interesting enough story, and it still has an overall good message. You kind of got to take care of yourself. If you don't, you're going to let things go loose. And sometimes you should be happy with what you have, because it could always be worse. You achieve, especially what is supposedly the American dream that people dream of, and you just want to throw it away. Maybe you should think twice, before trying to throw it away, because throwing it away, it might make you lose more. And that's kind of, she threw it all away. And that's literally what the whole story is. She threw away what she had. And that was supposedly, to most people in the world, would be considered a happy life. You have a family, you have a running car, a dog, both the kids are happy. It seems that they were all well fed, all healthy and everything. They had the ideal scenario, and she still threw it away. But yeah, I'll go on to you though.
Yeah, I agree. I think when I think about the plot and story of this film, it actually reminds me of a lot of another film that came out years ago called The Babadook. You guys ever seen that?
There's a little boy and his mom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it.
Let me go ahead. Google. It's called The Babadook, and it has a similar theme, like the creature. God dang it! Hey, I just want to go to Google.
No, you're brave. You can search on Google, bro. Just search it up,
bro. The themes inside the movie I thought were similar, because I remember watching or finishing the Babadook and realizing that the Babadook, or the creature that was inside the film that was tormenting the mom, was actually an allegory or a metaphor for her. What's that mental illness when a mother doesn't want their kid.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know the name, but I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah, it was that. I think that's what it was a metaphor for, because her kid was like super annoying and loud and or whatnot, and it was just getting at her.
Yeah, you could see her slowly start to break. Especially we
yeah,
forgot to throw in the cup and just starting to break stuff. Yeah, we didn't talk about the cup though, and yeah, we didn't talk about that.
Yeah, well, that's why I think the Babadook and the Woman in the Yard have a very similar type of themes going on, because and this is spoiler alert, in the movie, right? There's a couple of foreshadowing things that I thought about later on. Remember when the little girl was practicing her handwriting and she kept writing certain words backwards, right?
Yeah, the R, the R.
Yeah,
R.
And then like later on, when the mother goes to like the nether realm or the shadow realm or the mirror realm or whatever you want to call it, she starts seeing all the words backwards. So it's like that was foreshadowing what was going to happen to her. So I thought that was really cool. But I thought that the way the movie progressed, like how they showed her deteriorating more and more into madness, I thought they did a really good job. In particular, and near the end of the movie, the language of the movie almost becomes very artsy fartsy, like it's very nebulous.
Right, yeah.
But
yeah.
if you pay attention, man, they're giving you clues. Like for example, right when they go into the attic and they're having their final kind of like throw down battle with the shadow lady or the demon lady or whatever. When you see the demon lady walking close, slower and slower towards the daughter, and the daughter has the flashlight, and the demon lady saying, I would never hurt you, I would never hurt you, and then she as she gets real close to her, she puts her hands on her, and they just kind of disappear. That was a metaphor saying that was a mother killing the daughter. Because
you're right, because then she like passed out for a minute. Because remember, it kind of flashed back to remember her stabbing her. Remember that one scene?
Yeah, because remember when the son is witnessing this, when he sees the demon lady, he's seeing his mother's shadow.
Yeah.
So it was his mother all along. That's why when you see the one scene when they're inside his room, and they're he has the window open, and then he gets mad and then the mother gets mad at the little girl for writing the words backwards, and she yells at him, and then she apologizes and hugs him, and they cut to that shot of the son's they cut to the shot of the son where he's like in the foreground. In the background, you see the mother hugging the daughter, and you just see the son's face like, okay, my mom is going crazy. Like, he has this look of
horror.
Not so much horror, but like
disbelief.
Not even disbelief. It was more like
the fuck is wrong with you?
It wasn't even that. It was more like he had anger for it. He had anger for his mother, but he also was like, it was also like a look of like desperation. Like, what am I going to do? Like, this lady, she's unhinged, but she's still my mother, and we're stuck out here in the middle of nowhere. The electricity,
because neighbors miles away, and they didn't.
Yeah,
have
the electricity doesn't work. I don't want to be disrespectful, but she's always pushing me. You know what I'm saying? So it was one of those. That was the type of look that he had, like look of like desperation, like desperation and anger. But it was all foreshadowing. Like he didn't want to believe that his mother was that far gone. You know what I'm saying? And I think when the demon lady touches the little girl and they disappear, and you seeing like the flashlight click and flicker, you know what I'm saying? That's telling you like, look, the daughter is dying. She has died. The mother has killed the daughter. You know what I'm saying? And at the very end of the movie, and this is a spoiler alert, at the very end of the movie, right? It's nighttime. It almost seems like they've defeated the ghost lady or the black veiled lady, and it almost seems like the mother has finally gathered the strength to tell her children to leave, and she tells them, "Hey, you guys, you go to the next farm over. It's 2 miles away or whatever," and she's gonna kill herself. She's like, today's the day. Today's the day that I'm gonna do it. This is what I've been, wanting to do ever since for a while, probably even before her husband died. So the demon, which is her, helps put the gun towards her head, right? And you never hear a bang, right? You just see her running out of the house. So you think, okay, she didn't go through with it. And then you see her kids running back. And at first when I watched the movie, I was like, man, this is bad editing. Like she just sent them off. Why are they running back? But then I realized, look, it's still nighttime. It's still nighttime, right? So they go back into the house. And as they go back to the house, the mother's like, yeah, everything's going to be all right now or whatever. And they pan over to this painting that she was doing. And the painting is of her, but like it's like almost like abstract. And then they pan down to the bottom right-hand corner of the painting, and you see her signature. And the signature is written backwards, meaning they're almost like in hell. Like she killed both her children, and they're stuck in this house, and they're in this continuous loop. Because in one scene in the movie, right, at the beginning when the lady in the yard first shows up, when the mother goes out to like, kind of confront her, the lady is like, how did I get here? And the mother is like, you tell me, how'd you get here? You're on my property, basically, right? Well, later on in the film, they revisit that, and
great, it does revisit all the scenes, yeah.
There's
different context.
Yeah, there's a scene where the mother is under the veil of the lady sitting in the yard, so she's saying, how did I get here? Like, how did I get back into how am I sitting here in this position? and then she slowly turns into the person that's going to kill her children. Look, I'm sorry, this movie is good and it's twisty. I don't see why people don't like it. It's an excellent film. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought the way they went about filming someone's depression and descent into insanity to the point where they're going to harm their loved ones. I thought they did a good job without actually having to be brutal or show a bunch of gore and stuff. They did a good job with that. I thought it was very poetic in many ways. You know, the way they went about doing it. In fact, I will say this. I'm going to leave this to our political channel, but I'll just mention this. Kevin Samuels
Oh my god, bro!
Has definitely been listened to. I'll just say that, and I think there's a lot to be said about pathology of Black motherhood, and that's all. I'll leave it at that. We'll leave that more to the political channel, but I'll just say that. But overall, man, I thought the plot and story were really well done. I like the twists and turns. I like the way they would call back to earlier things. I like the foreshadowing. You know what I'm saying? I like all the little hints in the beginning. I think you did it. You said it well, Caleb. That you saw her. You saw her trying to be a good mother. You know what I'm saying? But she was just too far gone. You know what I'm saying? Too much trauma had built up or whatever.
Well, they had another scene of her that she did harm to herself.
When, you're right. Yeah, when she was doing the stitches. Yeah, the stitch scene. Yeah.
Did that. Well, they had a couple scenes in there actually. Now that you said that, when she was pulling, maybe I'm just reaching, but when she was pulling the chain in the yard for the dog, and it took her that so long, and then finally when you see the end of it, it's already it wasn't broken. It was like corroded. And then, and then the last scene, well, the final scene that when I realized, oh, this lady's gone. She's no longer with us. Is when the preacher started approaching the little girl, and if y'all remember, for she always had like I want to say a.
You said the preacher?
Creature.
Oh, creature. Okay.
Yeah. When she first showed up, like half her face was gone. Like I was like, okay, what happened to this lady's face?
Yeah.
It didn't explain. And then you realize at the end of the movie, both of the she was absorbed into the main actress, and they didn't have a bang, she's gone. They had little subtle things that showed that she unalived herself.
Yeah, that was really cool too. When I saw that, when you saw the creature, the monster, and half her face is gone, and it's like, well, why does she look like that now? But because I think by the time they had gotten into the attic, everything inside once they had gotten into the attic, that was all like the dream world.
A dream. It was a fugue state.
Yeah.
Because you remember, after she they went and tried to find the little girl, they went down into the father's safe. They had to crawl through the safe, and when she got to the other side of the safe, that's when she was sitting with the husband, and she was sitting there realizing like, I love this man, or whatever the hell was going through her head. And then she started looking around, and that's when she realized, this isn't real. This is a mirror world.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yep.
So I'm sitting there like, okay, either she's gone insane or she's dead.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Yeah. Basically everything that led up to the point where she's going to kill herself, that had already started. She had already killed herself by the time they had gotten to once they had gotten to the attic and the demon got in there. Everything after that is reality twisting and warping on itself. She had already done the deed. You know what I'm saying? That's why when her son's just sitting there looking at the demon going towards the girl, he's looking at his mother going crazy. You know what I'm saying? And she had probably already killed him. So yeah, man, that the way they did that ending, the end I thought was really good. At first I thought it was a little choppy. I was like, why are they doing that? But then when you see the stuff like where she goes through the mirror, I was like, okay, this is all like a demonic loop. Yeah, like a demonic loop. Like she's in this demonic loop. Like she's literally in hell with her kids. It's crazy, you know.
Well, no. At first, when there was a they kept on there's another clue, and it was real subtle.
Mm.
But I thought something was just wrong with the screen at the movie theater. But
Yeah.
every 30 minutes or so, there would be like white patches.
I noticed
Like,
that. Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
Like, is the theater just that shitty? Like,
Yeah, I
then
know.
I realized
They were doing the
Yeah.
whole
a reality breaking thing. Like she wasn't like,
well, it was like what's the movie called? Fight Club, where you
yeah,
just see little hints of Tyler Durden.
yeah,
You know
and
what I'm
it kept on
saying?
doing that. And I'm like, am
Yeah,
I
they were
going
doing that
crazy?
thing. The movie was good.
So
I
I'm
don't
like,
get why people didn't like it. It was really good. It was really good.
because hold on, and not to insult any of our viewers out there, people are just not smart enough to sit down and analyze a movie anymore. Let's just call it what it is. There's a lot of dumbass people out there. Like sometimes you gotta sit there and revisit things in your mind, like, oh, that's what that meant, and things like that. I sat there like, man, the whole thing with the dog. Like, there's two things. One, like the dog was actually tying the family together. Like, you remember everybody like, where's Charlie? There's Charlie, and there's
Yeah.
Charlie. And finally, when she pulled the chain and the dog is gone, like, oh, Charlie is dead.
So
And
what
then all the
happened? So what exactly happened to Charlie? I mean, we know the mother. We know the. Is that what you think he starved?
I think he starved. Yeah.
Because we know the mother
Because-
probably has something.
And the
to do with
chickens
it.
definitely got killed. You know. So I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but we know because the mother is the demon, so we know the mother killed the chickens and Charlie. But what happened to the body? I mean,
I don't know, but if I had to guess, Charlie's beneath that wrecked truck. Charlie is no longer left of the limit. Like this, and there's two things that really stuck out to me about it. Like, once I realized that she unalived herself out in the barn, and when like she walks out to the kids and she hugs them and they walk into the building, and at first I was like, oh, what's this cliche ass shit? They're gonna cut the lights on and they're gonna walk in the house and everything's gonna pretend to be all right. And then I was like, no, like when they walked in the house and the lights cut on, I'm like, oh no, that's the end. That's the end of her story. That's her entering her afterlife right there.
yeah,
When the lights cut on in the house, and I'm like, okay, that's the end of her and the end of them kids. So
yeah, and that part was sad. You know, the fact that the kids died too. But I think it shows you what depression can do, and you know it can get to that level. You know, if not treated right. What's up,
Well-
Integrity 101?
What?
There's a comment in the chat.
are you the only one that can see the chat?
No, we can look at it too.
I don't see it.
No, just look at the comments tab, man. There's a private chat and comments tab underneath the sign up for free and log in.
No, shit, I'm not doing all that bullshit. All right.
Bro, just click a button, bro. What are you talking about?
Man,
It's on the side. It says comments.
I'm not doing all that bullshit.
Saying in front of our
I'm
viewers.
not, I'm not doing all that bullshit.
You know, you better make our only viewer leave, Mickey. You're acting stupid, bro.
Oh man.
All right, let's move on to final thoughts. So, Limping on Sunshine, like, give us your final rating. Out of 5 bulbs,
Oh no, we
to give it.
Lucent Bulbs. I still got to do it. Give it a 2.5. But it's good enough for the start a conversation. I know it's a one and done type of movie, but if they could find some way to build upon what they started, I can see a good franchise out of it. So, matter of fact, I'll upgrade it. I'll give it 3. I'll give it 3 bulbs.
3 bulbs out of 5. All right, moving on to Carbon.
Me personally, I feel like I gotta get like a 5. Like, as far as stories that go telling like a darker story that kind of end badly, you know, talk about a game over or whatever. Like, this is one of the better stories I've seen that kind of talks about it. It doesn't really joke about anything or glaze over anything. It really shows what can happen if you go to the extreme levels, you know? So I feel like it's a good story to be like this is what happened. If you can't control it, you let yourself get out of control, you're gonna hurt the people you love, and it's like you're just gonna hurt people, So
Yeah,
overall,
I give it a 4, man. I give it a 4 out of 5. I thought this. The only reason why I don't give it a full 5 because I don't think it was particularly scary. And it has some creepy stuff in it, but it overall it wasn't like really creepy. In fact, I think movies like The Babadook are creepier. But just I like the execution. I thought they did a good job executing the narrative and flushing it out well and having a really good ending. I thought the ending was solid. Because it made you think. You start thinking and you start going back like, oh, that's what this means. Oh, that's what that means. Oh, that's what happened there. And it's probably still more that I missed. Because
this is one of the rare movies I would actually like to see a director's cut.
Yeah.
This is one of the rare movies because usually I don't care. I just see analyze things for myself. But suspenseful movies, dramatic suspense movies, like okay, this is where they're going with this, and this is where they're going with that. I mean, it's good to have conversations about it, but when you see somebody's vision and they hear in their own words, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, overall, man, I thought this was an excellent movie. I don't get some of the negative criticisms about it. I thought it was a good horror flick, and it was actually better than a lot of the horror flicks that I've seen recently. So yeah, solid 4 out of 5 for me, man. I thought it was good. Matter of fact, I'd like to see it again. I don't know if I'll see it again in the theater. When it comes out on streaming, I'll probably watch it again just to kind of see if I missed anything. Because I still want to know what happened to Charlie. I want to see more about where exactly maybe she, had, because it's like almost like when you're watching a movie. Now that I think about it, what was real and what wasn't real, or what was reality like, or was she dead the entire time?
I'm thinking she was gone the whole entire time.
Yeah, it's starting to seem like that, right?
Yeah, like she's like in an infinite loop. That's what I'm thinking.
Now that would be interesting. That would be interesting to see if she's in infinite loop or not. If they decide to move on or do a sequel somehow for this movie, but that's also a bad move because they'll overextend themselves. Yeah, it would ruin the story.
I can see how they could make a sequel from it, but it would be almost like the movie Smile.
Yeah, they shouldn't do that, bro, man. Oh my god,
where she becomes like a depression demon. You know what another movie this kind of reminds me of? There's a movie that came out I think in 2004.
The Darkness.
Called Darkness. I call it the forgotten cosmic horror flick. But I think that the ending for this movie and the ending for The Woman in the Yard kind of remind me of each other. Like it's similar. It's similar. If you've never seen Darkness, at the very end of it, this house was specially built to be like a gateway to hell, but you had to like sacrifice, I think it was like 13 children or something like that, and they were going to do they had done the ritual like way back in the 70s, but one of the kids escaped, so the ritual wasn't complete. So the portal wasn't completely open. It was only like partially open. But long story short, the kid that escaped eventually lived back in the house because like his memories and stuff were gone or whatever. He goes back and lives in the house, and he's killed as an adult. So that way the portal is completely open, and it happens at the same time as this eclipse is happening. And the guy's children, they're trying to get out of the house after the ritual is completed, and they do get out, or you think they get out, and they get in this car with the girl's boyfriend. And as they're in the car, you think they're gonna escape and everything's gonna be, all hunky dory. And you see you see the boyfriend driving, and you just see like this this blank look on his face. and like the girl says, "We'll be all right," and he's like, "No," and as he says no, they drive into the darkness of this tunnel, meaning they never left the house because what they say in the movie is that the darkness plays tricks on you. You know, it was pretty like I remember when first seeing the movie in theaters and thinking it was a shit movie because it came around the same time as like the movie like The Ring came out, and it didn't have all the jump scares like The Ring. But when I watched it again on DVD, I appreciated it more and more for what they did. It was truly a cosmic horror type of flick. Yeah.
Well, let me get you guys' opinion. What would you think is more frightening? What can transpire in your own head, or something that you know?
Who is he? Is that you? Is that you in the chat? Limping on Sunshine?
I don't know.
The almighty says, one? That's definitely you.
That's definitely him, bro. Man, what the hell is wrong with you? Would you really just come in the comment when you talking?
Yeah, good.
It's not being weird, bro. What's wrong with you, bro?
Go ahead, Dimitri.
You're the last person I want to hear about being weird. But
you got
but
go ahead.
You're being weird. What are you talking about?
I find psychological things more frightening than cosmic horror, things like that, creature features anymore, because that's something that can really affect you. Like, any of us can go through such a traumatic experience that we snap. And I'm sorry, after I realized what exactly was going on with this lady, I'm like, that can literally happen to any of us. Like you said in The Killing Joke, all it takes is one bad day, right?
I don't know. I think a lot led up to her psychotic break. I don't think it was just one thing. Because you gotta remember, because the way they present the movie is almost like you would think that these things are happening because her husband died, but then when they do that flashback when they were in the restaurant and you see, okay, she's always been unhappy and there's no pleasing her. That's why her husband, shout out to her husband, because her husband was like, there's no pleasing her. No matter what I do. And then she wants to divorce and take his children away, and it's just like, you know, dude, that face she had when she was in the restaurant, man, that was good acting.
Like the scene where he's like, you could tell that he couldn't please her when he said, you know, the kids are happy, you're happy, we're gonna make sure the yard has all the flowers you like and all that. She says, I can't work. It was like she was looking for a problem. Like, what?
Yeah, because when they were in the city, she wasn't happy.
Yeah,
that's why he was like, well, we're damned if we do, damned if we don't, and we can't keep moving. It's too expensive for us to keep moving around all the time.
Yeah, and I see what he was trying to do. He was trying to have a project with that house. He was trying to have a project where, hey, we can build this together as a family. But she didn't even want that. And then you want to get sad over something you did. And then she told the kid. Then she was lying to the kid.
That's why I like the fact that it didn't end with happily, because I think this is a good way to show that, you know, there's consequences to your actions. You know, you can't just make a whole bunch of bad decisions and be totally selfish and narcissistic and expect a happy ending. You know, I think this is a good lesson. I think a lot of women should watch this. You know what I'm saying? Be happy with what you got sometimes. You know, grass isn't always greener. You know, and like you said, Carbon Maggie, she had the life. She had the life.
Yeah, she had the most ideal life, especially if they live. I don't know if they live in America, but it looks like they did. So if they live in America, that was technically the American dream.
I will say though, you know, some people say depression, well, some forms of depression is a disease. So if she has a disease, she probably just needed some help. So that being said,
sure, mental illnesses are diseases. I mean, I don't know if not all mental illnesses can even be cured. I think it counts as a disease. Can't diseases be cured?
Well, I don't know. Some of it you could probably use medication. Some of it is probably just therapy. She probably needs therapy. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that completely cures them. I think it just gives them solutions how to cope with it.
I'll agree with Carbon on that. Like, there's no curing something. If people are going to be on antidepressants, there's no just getting off of them one day. and saying, "Hey, it's all good. It's not a take a pop a pill and you're done. You're on it for the rest of your life. If you're manic, you're going to be manic for the rest of your life." Now, this movie is a lot deeper than it seemed at the beginning.
It is. It really is. All right. I think that kind of concludes. I think we've pretty much said everything that we need to say about it. So that will be the review section of this episode. So let's move on to another topic here.
Fellas, I'm gonna have to step out because I gotta go do something. But I'll stick around for the next 20 minutes. So.
Okay. The next topic I wanted to discuss was the controversy over the Studio Ghibli AI fiasco.
You talking about everybody doing? You sent me something and I didn't see it.
Yeah.
This is what we're talking about. I'm gonna go ahead and just give my thoughts. And y'all can run with it. You want to know why I hate this? Because one, Studio Ghibli is such a renowned studio, and rather than, matter of fact, I can tell you, on the top right picture, they can sit there and copy Studio Ghibli, but they won't do the full Olympics. Won't do this full Olympic thing. That's bullshit. That's straight bullshit. Come on, man. Like,
well, I think there's a couple of things. One is showing you how good the AI is getting at mimicking styles, but I also think it shows you the depth of depravity of the people who are creating the algorithms and the machine learning, because they took copyrighted material, which is Studio Ghibli films, and they use that as training data. And I think Ghibli should sue them. I think they should sue OpenAI.
I think Miyazaki is too old right now, so it would take like.
That's not true, because recently that studio has been sending out cease and desist letters to certain people.
Well, if the studio's doing that's one thing, but Hayao Miyazaki.
The studio can sue people. You didn't have to sue them. The studio can.
I said the studio. I literally said the studio. I didn't say Miyazaki.
It definitely looks like the Ghibli studio art style. I can tell you that. Like,
yeah,
it definitely looks like that art style.
This was. You could tell. We know that they trained it on Studio Ghibli's copyrighted material.
It's better what I could do, bro. I'm not gonna lie. They say I was getting so good. I'm like, bro.
I think
as far as competing with it, I as a low tier artist, like, how am I supposed to compete with that? I literally would be able to. If it's image to image, I can't compete with that, bro.
I think they should.
There's no way to compete with that as a low tier artist.
I think they should sue. I think that a lot of other big companies should start suing them, and really make them pay. Really make them pay. Because it was years ago when Miyazaki said he thought that this type of technology was an insult to life itself, and I agree with him. I think there's a place for this type of technology, and we talked a little bit about it last podcast. If you're training the data on your own property, then I think that's all fair. I think that's fair. But when you're using someone else's material, then I think that crosses the line without pay or without any kind of compensation or permission. I think that crosses the line. And now these AI companies pretty much bought the government, and they're trying to make laws that exempt them from any kind of copyright claims, which is utter bullshit. And I think regular people need to fight against that. It shouldn't, because corporations already get away with that type of thing. They can get away with certain laws, or they can get away with certain behaviors, whereas the regular folk can't. and we need to fight against that. So no, I'm against this. I know people are having fun with it or whatever, but I'm totally against this. Totally against this.
Anything, I'm against anything that lower mortals can't do.
You're right about that.
Like we as artists, and like we as artists, that is basically when you can just say, "Hey, I did this on an algorithm," versus putting time. Like the same argument we've had about every AI conversation. If you're not putting love into it, it's not worth doing it. And with that,
I mean, according to the algorithm, that's not always true. The algorithms are going to take what's the most popular. It doesn't care if it's love or not. The algorithm is going to be like, will this do well? Is this trendy? Does this look good? And I'm like, it's going to send it out to people. If it's trash, then it doesn't follow the trends, or does something it doesn't want, the algorithm's not going to care. It's not an algorithm thing when it comes to that. No, that's why AI is so successful, because AI, you can just pump out infinitely to the algorithm, and it's like, you're pumping out so much content. You must be a good creator. That's what the algorithm thinks. The algorithm machine too, just like this AI.
That's why some people have.
That's why this AI thing is so crazy. That's why it's overtaking artists. That's why it's taking artists' jobs.
That's why everyone keeps saying that. Where jobs has it taken?
As far as like people who do commissions, there's people who will be like, "Oh, I can draw you this."
That's not a job. That's not a job though. That's a commission. That's not like a job.
I mean, some people have jobs off of commissions. Some people live off of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can see maybe doing like splash art or whatever. I still have yet to see, like everyone's saying it's going to take over this. Like, where is the AI movie at? Or the AI animation? The one that we have, what was that company called? The special effects guys. What are they called? They have a YouTube channel. What are they called, man? Corridor? Is it Corridor? You know what I'm talking about, Carpenter?
Yeah.
Remember that anime AI thing they did? It was shit. It looked like shit.
It was okay.
No, it looked like shit.
It was like okay. It was like, bro, it was not. I was
like
telling
shit.
you, it's just okay. Like it's garbage. Not, bro.
Like straight garbage. And look, now I think the AI has gotten better since they released that. So I think you can have a little bit more consistency now. But it goes back to what I was saying before. AI is not acting. It's not an actor. So unless you're using it as some kind of like filter, which they did. Here, let's pull this up. This is where I see the tool being mostly used for. Let's pull this up because this, I think, kind of illustrates my point. We'll watch this.
Fellas, I'm going to step out. Same time next week.
All right. Let me turn my music off here for a second.
But same time next week.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, and everybody look out for our next movie review. It's gonna be on Sinners.
Dang, why is this thing sharing? Oh, I got on the wrong tab. Let's see. There we go. But there's a show called The House of David, and they used AI inside the making of the show for a particular scene that I think involved like an angel. So what they did was I guess they had an actor kind of act out the part on maybe like a green screen or something like that. And then they used the AI almost like a filter to turn the actor into the angel. So they blended that with some real live action effects with some visual effects. And it doesn't look bad. Like it looks kind of like AI, but it looks decent enough, I think, especially for the budget of the show that they have. But that's where I see more of like, okay, you're using it as a visual effect, almost like a filter, rather than you're going to see a whole.
That would still take a job. AI.
Well, I don't know. Will it take a job? Because the way this guy explained it, it was like, they would not have been able to do this if they did not have the AI technology. So this scene would have never even happened because they couldn't afford it. So the visual effects people who they did have on staff were able to use the tools in like a smaller man crew for a lower budget type of venture. But let's watch it. See what happens. Okay. acting
Dude,
stupid.
what the hell?
Yeah, it's acting stupid. I guess when you do full screen, it doesn't play.
I mean, that's just your Twitter. My Twitter didn't do that.
Hey,
Unless you dare blame it on Brave, it is not Brave's fault. It's your computer's fault, bro. If Brave works fine. It's not Brave's fault.
damn, it's ridiculous. I'm gonna start using my other computer. Let me refresh.
Yeah, I tell you, bro.
This is so annoying. Just play, damn you.
I tell you, it's not gonna play.
Seemed like it was doing okay until I put it on full screen. Come on, man. The hell, man. Wow. I don't have any like other assets open or anything. And my connection's fine. I tried to find this video on YouTube, but I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, bro.
Hey, I'm John. I am.
Wow.
Yeah, what is wrong with your computer, bro?
I think it's just. I think it's partly the computer. I don't think I have enough resources to do all this on this particular laptop. Because I have it hard connected, so the connection shouldn't be a problem. Man, this is ridiculous.
I'm creator and co-showrunner of House of David. It is our company, The Wonder Project's first production in collaboration with Amazon and Prime Video. It's on Prime Video right.
It's almost like when I leave the tab, it'll play, but when I when I go back to the tab, it doesn't play.
Now, to our knowledge, we are the first or among the first to use generative AI tools to create some of the scope and scale that would have been otherwise impossible. All the footage that you're seeing right now was made using an AI tool set combined with traditional tools. Specifically, episode 6 represents the first scene in a show that's driven by generative AI tools. Now, many other traditional tools were used in the process. Real actors were used to perform the scene, but this represents a leap forward in technology and what we were able to achieve. These tools are more human and more creative and more collaborative than any other.
So annoying. I'm definitely
tools that I've ever used in a VFX process. I say that as a showrunner, I say that as an AI artist, and I say that as a former animator. Why am I telling you this? I think much of the fear and discussion around these tools are in two.
But I mean, AI is not being just used like that. It's being used by just people who have no art skill at all, literally trying to do commission jobs.
And number two, will these tools take jobs?
If you want to think it's just being used by artists, that'd be one thing. But that's not the truth.
You can't talk while the video. Well, shoot, the video was barely playing.
We have found by using them and taking the time to deeply understand them that actually the complete opposite is true. They allow me to be more creative as the showrunner. They allow actors to have more agency into their digital performance. And they allow the core department heads on the show to be able to collaborate on the visual effects because we're actually making the visual effects while we film the show. Of the 850 VFX shots in season 1 of House of David, 73 shots were created using these tools as an engine to the car. These are a new set of paintbrushes that, when placed into the hands of artists, especially when they're together and collaborate, allow you to do things that were formerly impossible. The integration of these tools are going to create jobs in our industry. That's what I feel. The reason is, a show like House of David, many people told us that our vision was impossible. What we say at Wonder is we do not compromise, we innovate. If we had listened to the status quo of our industry, House of David never gets made. By making it a budget many people thought was impossible, we're able to employ nearly 700 people. House of David represents a show that could not have been made without innovation. Technology and leaps forward in technology are essential to the journey of cinema. So I want to thank Amazon and Prime Video
All right, that's enough.
for allowing us to innovate.
But doesn't every like art director complain their budget's not big enough? They always want to go above expectations. I mean, we always see innovations in technology no matter what. I mean, like I said, like the AI still, if it's being used by artists, that's one thing. But what has happened is just random people are using it and literally just trying to get jobs off of just an AI, still in the work off of other artists. Like there are people who legitimately will just say, "Oh, I can do this art for you," and just use AI doing it for them. And the customer, they don't know, and they'll be like, "I have this artwork made for me," and people are like, "Yo, that's AI." And it's like, I didn't want my artwork to be AI, you know.
I don't really know exactly what you're saying, but I think the point that I made last show that as far as this being integrated into the pipeline of making films or animations, I see it more as like advanced filters. Again, I don't think the AI can act. I mean, it can do small things here and there, but like think about it. You're doing a 2-hour long movie, and all the subtleties that goes along with that, particularly the main character who's probably going to be in most of the scenes, right? I just don't see the AI doing that, not in a convincing way. Like again, like if it's like some kind of avant-garde, experimental type thing, but who's going to watch that? There's not going to be like some big budget thing or whatever. Now, again, using this as tools, like as like advanced filters, for sure. I mean, we already see it happening. This guy's doing it right here. And the results weren't bad. Like you could still kind of tell it's AI, but they weren't bad. You know what I'm saying? And it was only for like one scene that looked like it may have been only like 40 seconds long. Everyone says this thing's going to get better. I'm not sure about that. I just don't see. I don't see that. Not in the way that people are saying anyway. But for example, I already use advanced filters in Photoshop. If you go to Photoshop and you open it up and you go to the filter section, there's a thing called neural filters where you can do all kind of things. You can what used to take you forever, like if you took a person from one photo and you put them in another photo with a different background, different lighting. Well, they got a neural filter that will match the lighting of the background to the person that you put into that photo. Whereas before you could do that before with a whole bunch of Photoshop techniques, it would take you hours. Well, the neural filters, they automatically does it for you. So that's where I see this really coming in more into play, is like advanced filters when it comes to like visual effects and movie making and stuff like that. But this idea that it's going to just take all the jobs and you're just going to have all movies going to be made with AI. I don't.
It's not going to be completely, but it's going to be a lot less jobs. That's the main.
Well, the way he described it was, or it seemed
as of right now. But what happens is the reason, like we used some of the Photoshop thing, right? When things take longer, they need more people to do something like that, right? As just happened throughout the animation field, as things get quicker, some people are gonna lose their job because now you're doing the same job with two people to do because you can do it way quicker. Think about it. That's how companies see it.
No, I agree with that.
Hire less people.
Yeah,
I'm going to hire less people.
They probably will hire less people. I do agree with that. But I mean, let's be honest, a lot of it is bloated anyway.
Yeah, you definitely the art industry is pretty bloated. Yeah,
just in general, like the entertainment industry. I remember I was watching the behind the scenes for I think it was The Last Jedi, and it was just like it seemed like a lot of those people didn't need to be there.
I mean, but it's a field that a lot of people want to be in. I mean, I understand why. It's one of the better jobs you can have. If you had to choose any job, being in the entertainment field be one of the better places you can choose, bro. It definitely beats being at McDonald's or some trash like that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, the entertainment industry is actually an enjoyable job in comparison to most industries are enjoyable. So I understand why it's bloated and why people don't want to take AI because they'd rather there be more jobs and less. Even if it has to be.
Let's move on to the next subject. This one is about the new Spider-Man movie called Beyond the Spider-Verse. I think there's an official.
Man, those freaking artists have been getting treated horribly, bro.
Yeah, I think the official release date will be June 4th, 2027. And as you can see, they've released a couple of little stills from the animation. From what I hear, they're working on some new animation technique, so that's gonna be fun. Like this right here looks really cool. So what do you think overall about Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse?
The artists are getting treated pretty bad right now. So they had to delay the movie so long. It wasn't supposed to literally come out like last year or something like that.
Yeah, it's supposed to come out like a year after.
That's why it's getting delayed so much because so many artists are actually quitting right now, and they're like, "Yo, this is not good." Like,
so what was the main motivation for them quitting? Like not enough pay, bad hours?
It's not that. It's just the director's so strict. They would actually get all the way to fully animating the scene, and director, nah, we got to redo this. They have everything fully made.
That's what directors do, though.
No, but it's like there's a certain amount of cuts you're allowed to do as a director. Right? You aren't supposed to like wait till a whole shot's finished and then cut that multiple times for some of these people. Like he would cut it multiple times. There's hundreds of hours just cut because he wanted to keep doing scenes. And for the process that Spider-Verse has to go through, you got to remember they have a longer process than most animation teams. Right?
That doesn't seem like a legitimate reason to want to quit, though. Because I'm like, if I got to do it over, but I'm still getting paid well. And I got decent hours. I wouldn't care.
I think their hours are messed up too.
That's what I heard. I heard some of the pay probably isn't the best, and they got shitty hours.
Yeah, I heard they have to kind of do unpaid overtime.
Yeah,
but a lot of jobs like that nowadays are unpaid. Like all these movies and stuff, that's the main problem too. Like unpaid overtime is a common thing in the animation industry, which kind of sucks, but it's becoming more and more common. I'm not gonna lie. And AI is not gonna help that.
Yeah, they need to create some kind of like union or something.
They're already trying to do that. It doesn't work. They just get fired if they try to do that, Brian. That's what happens. Especially the voice actors. But the voice actors, they try to do union stuff. They be like, "Oh, you want to work at a union? We're gonna fire you."
I hate to say it, but that's where I think AI really is destroying the industry. Is like audio. When it comes to like music and voice acting, it's over for you guys. It's over. It's just over. I mean, there's still gonna be people who need specialized things I don't think the AI can do.
Yeah, name brand stuff. Like people already have like a name, they're gonna always want those people.
If you could
low end people, bro, it's over for us low end people, bro. We don't stand a chance. At least in this modern industry. I mean, for one, you probably can't be seen in the first place with the majority algorithms, Good luck with that.
All right, let's move on. I thought that was interesting that it's coming out on the 27th because they did say it was supposed to come out like a year after that last one.
I'm telling you, a lot of those artists are quitting, bro. That's why they're like.
All right, we'll do two. We'll do two more. We'll do two more, then we'll call it quits. We're gonna watch the Superman sneak peek.
Man, you still want to watch more about the Superman movie?
Huh? This is actually one of Demetrius's.
Dang.
But he's gone now. So.
I'm personally not interested in that movie at all.
Me neither. I don't really care either. But this is a sneak peek, 4-minute long sneak peek. Let's see what they got. But before I say anything, this is one. I think we mentioned this before. Where's the joy at in this? Like when I look at this,
what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah, let me show you exactly what I mean.
It's just like the first 9 seconds. What are you talking about? Like nothing is happening. It's just showing a background shot. I don't know if you want to happen.
I'll show you what I mean. Superman.
You're overreacting, bro.
Solitude.
Let's
see here. Dang it. I keep forgetting I'm not on Google.
Wow. I'm sorry, but I should have that snowy background, bro. I'm sorry, man.
When did that first film came out? 79?
I don't know, man. It came out your time period, bro. That's me.
That's actually a little before my time. Not quite, not a lot, but a little.
Man, that came out in BC time. You gotta ask me.
Shame on you. Like, okay, when I see images like this, right? Because this is from the '78 film. When I see
I
images
wouldn't
like
say
this,
there's joy, but there's more mystery. I wouldn't call it joy though. I call
but it
it
looks
mystery.
fun. It looks like someone made this, and it looks like a cool set. And look at the visual effects on this one. It looks majestic. It looks cool. You know what I'm saying? When I look at it, I get a sense of wonder. And I think it speaks to good visual effects, set design, and just lighting, and just having fun with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though this is what created what more than 40 years ago now, I just I prefer this. I prefer this than what we were just watching, which had no joy.
We
Just
never
had no
watched the whole
joy
thing.
in
We
it.
just watched the first 9 seconds. Like, what are you talking about? Like, we didn't even get to see the inside the cave yet. Like, we're outside.
It's look all CG and stuff, or the cinematography
just
look
looks like
overdone.
it just looks like regular show. It just looks like Antarctica.
That's the problem. That's the problem. It looks like regular snow. There's no joy in it. There's no mystery. There's no excitement in it. It's just like, okay, you went to Antarctica and took some pictures. It's like, what? Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Maybe that's what they want. Like, where they going?
All right, let's go back to it. Why is it? It's kind of funny.
Crypto, take me home. Home.
Bro, this is not like Crypto on the TV show. Man. Crypto was part of the TV show.
Crypto. Home.
Isn't that what you asked for? Isn't that what you were talking about? It's the crystals, like.
Do you see what I mean?
I mean, it's the crystals. Like, I don't.
It looks like all CG. Like, it doesn't look real. Like, it doesn't look. I don't know.
I mean, depending on what a person wants. I mean, they might not care. Like, I mean, CG's been a popular thing for the last almost 20 years. I mean, some people
it just
don't
doesn't
mind.
look.
I
It doesn't
really
look
have
good.
people I know, like they're like non-art people.
Why does
don't care about CG?
Why does the stuff in the '70s look more real than this right here? And they probably spent billions of dollars. Well, I should say billions, millions of dollars to get this CG. Like, it just doesn't look real. Like, it doesn't look good. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know how to describe it.
There are people who like CGI like this.
I will say this though. I see why Superman keeps Crypto in the North like that. If Crypto ever plays around with a human like that, he's gonna kill him.
No need to thank us, sir, as we will not appreciate it. We have no consciousness whatsoever, merely automatons here to serve. Meet 12. She's new.
He looked at me.
14 fractured bones.
Damage to bladder, kidney, large intestine, lungs.
With a healthy dose of yellow sun, we'll have you up and at 'em in no time. Level 4? 292 times Saharan Prime, please, one.
That girl's spine is completely broken. After that, right there, this is not an elegant. It's not an elegant shot. I did like how the Fortress of Solitude turned towards to face the sun. That was kind of cool. But this right here is the most unelegant shot of a Superman save ever. This is poorly shot. Poorly shot.
Yeah, they would definitely. The way he grabbed them would definitely be dead.
What were you saying?
They would definitely be dead with the way he grabbed them. Like that. Oof.
Yeah, her neck is gone.
Yeah.
He's back.
My man is not like Lex Luthor, though. I'm sorry, this is the older guy. I still sure with movies like Lex Luthor, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Superman.
My thoughts on it really haven't changed. I do want to see it. Looks like it might be kind of fun, but overall, I'm not impressed with the aesthetics. It looks like CW type of effects to me. But you know, I would be willing to put that aside if the movie is good and it's a lot of fun to watch. So, you know,
I'm
we'll
not
see.
gonna watch it, bro.
We'll
You
see.
can watch this one on your own, bro. I ain't gonna see this one.
All right. I was gonna do the Karate Kid, but we're not gonna do that. The last one is gonna be. It's called. Have you ever heard of this, Carbon? It's called Inyanu. It's the African American superhero. I'm sorry, the African superhero series.
No, what the world is a Yanu? Like, that's what?
Inyanu.
I don't know what that is, bro.
Let's watch the trailer.
It was foretold by our ancestors.
Damn. Man, this is annoying. The Superman trailer did well, but this right here is like screwing up. Let me refresh it.
It was foretold by our ancestors.
Damn, man. Yeah, I'm going to start doing this on my other computer.
So you can't blame it on Brave. It's not Brave's fault. It's your computer.
Well, what
Why
sucks
you're
is
ripping
that if I do it on my other computer, I won't be able to draw while I do the show until I get a whole bunch
You can start sculpting, I guess. You can sculpt with a mouse. It's definitely
Yeah.
irritating, but you get used to it. I mean, you're not supposed to. A mentor told me I should probably stop.
This is annoying.
It's easier to sculpt with a mouse than with a pen. I'm sorry. It is.
God, why is it doing this?
That's not the only talent I have is sculpting with a mouse. Like, well, we can't do that. It's like draw with a mouse.
Just play, damn it.
That's a talent.
It was foretold by our ancestors.
Get to that one point, it'll just
Bro,
stop.
what is wrong with your Wi-Fi, bro?
I don't think it's the Wi-Fi. I think it's the computer. I think I'm doing too much. I don't think because this computer only has, I think, 12 gigs of RAM. How much gigs of RAM does this thing have? Or is it 16? I can't remember. Whereas my big computer has 64 gigs.
That'll definitely make a difference.
Well, 16. No, it has 16 gigs of RAM. I think I got multiple processors running, streaming. I'm drawing and painting. I just don't think this computer can handle it. It's so annoying. Because remember when we first did it in podcasts, I didn't really have these problems, but I wasn't doing as much either. And we weren't streaming. We were recording. Damn, it's play.
It was foretold by our ancestors.
Wow. All right, let's try this. I'm opening up in another tab. Close this one. And then we'll present it again. You know what it probably is? Brave is blocking the ad, and YouTube won't let it play because it's blocking the ad. You bastards.
It didn't happen to me. I remember they fixed it. I mean, you update your Brave all the way because I'm like, if you on the updated version, that shouldn't happen to you.
I don't know if I have I downloaded whatever was on their website, but I don't know if I have an updated version or not.
I mean, it should be updated, bro. But I don't know.
Yeah, man. So I watch the video. What I probably should start doing is downloading the videos and then uploading it to the StreamYard and just playing it through there. I don't know. I just know this is annoying. Just play the video. This thing will not play, dude. Why won't it play?
It was foretold by our ancestors.
God, it's annoying.
I mean, you can go up and turn your ad block off if you really want to.
Huh?
Click on the little Brave browser symbol at the top right.
Yeah.
It should be like a little Brave thing. You can click and you can turn your shields off. Now I'll turn the ad block off. If you really think it's that.
It was foretold by our ancestors.
Nope, did the same thing.
You turn the shields off? Yeah, turn the shields off and then refresh.
It's refreshing? Okay. Yeah, to make the show run. Yeah, to make the show run smoother, I might have to.
Let's go.
It was foretold by our ancestors.
I still do.
See, it's not Brave. I tried to tell you it wasn't Brave. You didn't want to listen to me. See, I told you it wasn't Brave. It is your computer.
Well, I mean, I was literally saying
it was foretold by our ancestors.
Why is it stop hear you? It's just so annoying. Shit, we'll save it for the next show, man. Huh?
Yep.
No one wants to sit here and watch this. Yeah, so we'll save it for the next show. And I think we've gone almost 2 hours anyway. So yeah, we'll save it for the next show. Yeah, that's so annoying.
Yeah, the first clip here first says that Ghibli wants is still trending. Just remember, post that Ghibli one first in that clips channel.
Yeah.
All still trending.
All right. We'll call it quits here. That sucks. There's a couple things, other things I wanted to show you, but computer's acting stupid.
I got the head a little more down. I just gotta make the mouth. I didn't really do a whole lot besides that, but I mean, I made him look angry, I guess.
Yeah. All right.
That's like that's how.
All right. Well, we'll meet up again next time. I did so much trying to prepare for this one as far as the getting it to stream to other things or whatever. I didn't really have time to really get my thoughts together like I wanted. So this show has been kind of a little haphazard, but you know, we'll try again next one and try and up the quality a little bit. All right, man. I'll see you next time.
Well, you do what you got to do, man. Because this seems to just starting to take out your art time. So I mean, you do what you got to do. If you got to lower the quality, that's what you got to do.
Yeah. Well, the idea is to get it done so I don't have to do it. Like if you look at like, have you seen this? Hold on, let me see it. Let me show you real quick. If I go to media assets. Yeah. So look at this right here. I did this. I created this.
Oh yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
So I'm trying to get all those little things like that. I'm trying to master StreamYard a little bit. Once I get it all kind of together, it's done. I don't have to worry about it. But you know, it's just you gotta learn it. You know, but it's looking more and more like I'm gonna have to start doing this from my larger computer because it's just too many technical difficulties with this laptop. I'm trying to draw at the same time. I'm gonna have to buy some if I want to draw. I'm gonna have to buy some extensions because I can't connect my tablet monitor to that computer, but I have to buy some extensions for some of the cords to reach all the way over there. And I just use my wireless keyboard and mouse, to run the show. But all right, man, I'll see you next Friday.
All right.